Culture and me.
It is a place where the truth should be carried.
The arts and music scene really shows what people are about.
Share what's going on here in York.
Makes you feel like a family.
Local art has a face that most people can relate to.
Our community up here that sticks together.
Art is art.
Great potential with great artists, poets, singers, writers, directors, filmmakers. It's fantastic. Everyone has a story to tell.
That moment, you have to capture that moment and share it with the rest of the world.
Showing something that maybe is not been seen before.
Without art, what good is life?
I am art. I've been art ever since I was born.
It really adds a great deal to our community.
We don't really need art to exist, but you need art to live.
Culture in Maine is important, and I think playing out is important, and playing open mics and playing wherever you can play. It's all about us all checking in with each other.
Running on road rage, running on time, running down everywhere, running on down, yeah. Running on this, running on that, running out with my baseball bat. 'Cause I like it. Don't you know that love is blind? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Love is blind, love is blind. Yeah. Don't wanna be no Autobush pilot running down the road for nothing. Say I'm gone. Running over here, running over there, running down the road, running everywhere, yeah. 'Cause I like it. Don't you know that love is blind? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Love is blind, love is blind. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, you know you were just loving the music, and now you get a chance to actually love the men behind the sound. Guys, why don't you introduce yourselves to our home audience? Just let them know who you are and all the different instruments that you play.
Hey, we're Red Eye. I'm Gus. I play guitar and sing.
I'm Andrew. I play fretless bass.
I'm Tony. I play the drums and sing.
Now, the big secret that's not quite a secret because you are the short and long-haired version of each other is that you are actually also brothers, yeah?
Yep.
Yes.
Now, did you start off the band because you were brothers playing together, or did you were like, oh man, I already have this band and I'm dragging the brother in?
Both.
Both.
Yeah.
We were there together.
Yeah.
Since '84.
And then
Since 1984.
Woo, vintage. So then how did we end up with the non-related member in the mix?
We met a couple years ago, Gus and I at the
Yeah.
open mic at Victor's, I think.
Right. Yeah, we've been playing with Andrew for a few years. I don't even know, like 2010 maybe. It's been longer actually.
Has it?
Yeah.
Well, you guys have been in the music scene, not necessarily in your Red Eye incarnation, but as part of the South Central PA music scene for quite some time. You want to just give me a rundown of some of the projects that you guys have been involved in and how you got started all the way up to the moment of your current Red Eye fame?
Sure. Well, it started in our parents' basement, jamming. And then it turned into, our first band was Random Precision back in the day. And then after that, Tony and I kind of split up and played in some different bands. He went to
Hard Love.
he went to Berkeley. I stayed around here and played in some bands. And then when he came back, we had gotten back together and we were in Hard Love. We had that for a while.
Regardless of how long you're playing and how hard it is, the struggle of gigs and the rise and fall of the music scene in the area.
We're in
you're
for the
that
long
committed.
haul.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a lifestyle. Definitely for me. I mean, I wouldn't have it any other way. I know it is for Andrew. All of us really.
Yeah.
Tony teaches and is playing, other bands. These guys play with other bands. I mean, it's always been in our life. So it's the cutoff. I don't know what the cutoff thing would be.
What is, aside from the actual joy of the music, what's the personal importance for you? What does it do for you that makes it worth scheduling your lives, giving up sleep, giving up time, investing financially? I mean, it is seriously challenging being a full-time poet. So I can only imagine being a full-time musician.
I wouldn't
Why?
have it any other way. I mean,
It's the feeling you get when you play live.
when you
There's
connect
nothing
with
like
people.
it.
Yeah.
You can connect with people and
Yeah. When somebody comes up to you and says, Carla, that really
Sounded
hit
really
me.
good.
That really hit me. That's beautiful. If it's just that one person that comes up at the end of the night and says, oh, man, you guys are great, man. This is great. It's worth it for that. Even all the, hour to set up, hour to tear down, and we got to drive home. And then when we get home, sometimes we make like peanuts, it seems like. And because, people ask us what we do for a living. It's like, well, it's tough, but, we do it.
Well, I will ask you this. This has come up a lot in several of the conversations that we've been having locally with musicians, that the music scene here in York is an amazing talent hotbed. But at the same time, when you have so much talent in such a small area and the large proportion of venues are in bars that are not, they don't necessarily pay the money that a full band would be worth or that would command elsewhere. What keeps you here playing locally? Is it the commitment to family? Is it just the commitment to the scene? Like where do you find that balance between playing at home and getting out and playing regularly versus wanting to travel more, maybe playing less to create more demand? I mean, how do you find that balance with the scene that's here specifically?
Yeah, we want to do that. We want to get out more and more, but what's kept us here is family. A lot of that,
And friends.
and our roots are here, and now the scene has flourished, like you said. So it's
And
really,
there is a
nice
lot
to
of
see
music
that.
lovers in York too, and art lovers. It's just
And also, we're a three-piece, so we can make a little more money.
Yeah, that's how we make
So
it
nobody else gets to join the band.
Yeah, we do have.
Occasionally,
we bring.
Ralph has been in the band, and
if we
different
get paid.
people. Yeah, Trixie
Brenner
from Lancaster. And
Yeah, so I mean, and we bring other people out with us. It's not always just us three.
I want Pete to play.
You guys are the core of the Red Eye.
Yeah, and it's like you
You're
said,
the
it's
pupil.
tough. You go out and
Yes.
yeah.
You are the eye.
Yeah,
of
that's
the storm.
basically it.
Yes.
And then the other.
Now, do you find that it affects you that that most of the venues that you are playing in here in York are bar venues? Do you find the audiences still respectful?
Comes with the territory.
Yeah.
You just know that magic hour of 12:30, 1 o'clock. There's going to be a change
There's
in the
always
space.
no shortage of drummer jokes. That's for sure.
I love I like the bar scene. It, you know, would be nice to play non-bar venues at some point, but
do you think
it's what
that,
keeps us going? So can't knock it, really. You know.
do you think that York has the ability to support a scene where people would actually have to pay for music when they're so used to hearing super high quality music for free because they're buying drinks?
That's the dilemma.
That is. I'm still waiting. I am going to survey every band that comes in here until we find one.
Well, you know, people complain about paying a $5 cover. Well, back in the 70s, they had the same cover. Now, or 80s or whatever, what have you. Now people complain about paying a cover, and you know, the bands were getting paid theoretically more than we are now, and people don't want to pay a cover. So it's like, it's scary, but I kind of think that, you know, I don't know. I have faith in, I actually have faith in humanity. But I think that, you know, that the arts and stuff, it's not all just going to be for free, and people are going to get what they deserve.
Can't keep good music down.
Yeah. This is Home Sweet Home.
I can tell by the way that you're looking at me. Be a man, but playing to see. Have to work hard, keep you loving on. Love you all night till the break of dawn. That's a lie. Take me home, sweet baby. Come on, home, sweet home with me. Come on, home, sweet home. I can tell by the way that you hold my hand. Feel love that you understand. Love is so good, makes satisfied. Love me all now, love me all now, but that's a lie. Don't take me home, sweet baby. Just come on home, sweet home with me. Just come on home, sweet home, yeah. I can tell by the way that you're looking at me. Be your man, but it's plain to see. Love so good, make satisfied. Come on, rock me all night, rock me all night. That's what I like. Won't you take me home, sweet baby? Won't you come on home, sweet home with me? Just come on home, sweet home, yeah. Just come on home, sweet home with me. Yeah, yeah. Just come on home, sweet home. Now, shoot-a-bap-a-bap, home, sweet home with me. Come on home, sweet home. Just come on home, sweet home with me.
So if you had to give advice to new musicians, up-and-coming musicians that were trying to find their place in the scene and find their musical voice, what would you say are if you had to pick the lesson that you think that music has really taught you, or that your travels in the music scene have taught you, that you wish that everybody else needed to know?
Go ahead.
For me, it would be connected to the bar scene. Is take it easy on the drinking.
Yeah.
When you're young,
And
sometimes
also,
it can take you over a little bit, even though you can use it as inspiration. It can lead you elsewhere.
down the wrong
I would
path.
say be careful.
Also, be nice to people you meet along the way, because it's happened 2 or 3 times already. You end up dealing with those people and you feel like a jerk because you're like, oh, hey, how you doing? You're in the same industry and we're in this small
Don't
town.
burn bridges.
Yeah, it's like, even if you think you're going to leave York and never come back, watch.
Never possible.
You'll be back. You'll be back. You know?
Yep.
Mark my words.
What about you, Andrew?
I think the important thing is just to, stick with it, regardless of what immediate gains you see or don't see,
Now, a lot of people actually, I found creative people don't tend to just be creative in one area. If they see the world in that way, then that's just how they interpret it. So I've seen a lot of really great musicians that are actually like secret poets, or the poets will come on and they want to be, they're like, well, I actually really want to be a watercolor artist.
Yeah.
Do you guys have hidden creative talents?
Tony's a
beside
bit of
the
a
music?
Renaissance man.
Yeah, I like to. I like tinkering with motors and motorcycles and stuff.
He's a mechanic.
And I also cook too. So
Yeah, he's a good cook.
I do that. That's how I
You're like the
survive.
dream man. You can fix cars, cook meals, and play music. What?
Yeah. Something like that. But it's because I have to, because I teach drums and play gigs for a living, and I have to I started to have to work on my own cars too and cook, because it's cheaper. I don't know. It goes hand in hand. It works out.
Necessity is the mother of skill as well as invention.
Kind of. Yeah. But this is gonna be light bright. When I wake, make me fresh like a baby and wise like an old man. Catch the rest together, woman. 'Cause tonight I wanna be free. Tonight I wanna be me. Ain't nobody gonna stop me from having some fun. So roll out your carpets, man. Stick up your stickers, man. 'Cause tonight it's my hand. It's gonna be all over the land. Yeah. Light bright, shine right tonight. Be that fuel for my flight tonight. I get stopped in here. Imagination, God, a dream seems so peaceful until you wake up and strip the cover. Find out that it's all unuseful unless you got a dream inside of your head. So tonight I'm gonna slip in and out of reality, up out on the dance floor, shaking out around the floor. 'Cause tonight I wanna be free from the rest of that crowd. Just me. Light bright, shine bright tonight. Be that fuel for my flight. Get stopped in here. Imagination, dreaming. Light bright, shine bright tonight.
said the 11 de 12 de, but the phone said 11 de 12 de. I said the 11 de 12 de, but the phone said 11 de 12 de. I said the 11 de 12 de.
So, to wrap it up, what would you guys say is just the best thing that music has done for you in terms of what it has taught you or what you've learned from it as a human being outside of the environment of performance?
Like us personally?
Yeah.
I think that it gives me inspiration that we think everybody feels that they have a hard time in this life, and to hear beautiful music being played by other humans and things like that we can hear, like, that's amazing that we're hearing these frequencies and we can all get moved by it. You know, it's just like visual art or reading a good novel where it takes you to a place. It brings meaning kind of to my life, I think. If I don't have it, then, you know, it's kind of...
The music makes it make sense.
Well, that's the difference between us and a hard drive, you know. We're not just storing information, you know.
It's everything to me, yeah. It's my higher power.
I totally agree.
Inspiration. It saved me pretty much. So,
yeah,
keeps me going.
I see it as a microcosm for the universe, you know.
Yes. It's a beautiful thing.
This one's called Get Back.
Won't you get back to me? 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 Keeping your side down. Saturday night with you. Uh-oh. Gonna make for the door. Well, scream up in my bed. Headed for the door. No shame, no shame, no shame. Cause I really need love. I really want love. I really feel love. Get back. You look so good. Don't let it back, mama. Feel like a grease stone. Mark that empty night. Going down with you. Got that red dress on. Make it right, make it right. Now I'm doing the time, living out there caught out of eye on the face of America. Everybody got to feel in the city. City tonight. Man, no more ride on the sidewalk down to me. Got a cigarette, man. Got a coat on, stand, man. While I take a walk as me. She get back to me. She's been bad to me. She's been bad to me. She's been bad to me. She moves on. Everybody got to feel in the city. In the city night. Man, I'm on side on sidewalk down to me. Got a cigarette, man. Cold on the stand, man. While they walk at the fit. Won't you get back to me? 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 Yeah, yeah. Won't you get back? Won't you get back? Won't you get back? Won't you get back to me? Won't you get back? Won't you get back? Won't you get back? She's been bad to me. Won't you get back? Won't you get back? Won't you get back? She's been bad to me. Won't you get back? Won't you get back? She's been bad to me. Take it down. She moves on.
Now, you have heard me numerous times extolling the virtues of the new emerging neighborhood, Royal Square, which is on East King Street. Now, we visited King's Courtyard Artist Collective, which is one of the gallery spaces that's on that block, a great eclectic multi-artist space. And we have another one of the artists from King's Courtyard Artist Collective joining us today, David Paulette. Now, David, you are one of the multiple artists that have come together in the fabulous King's Courtyard. That's correct. Now, what I love most about King's Courtyard is that it really represents a lot of different styles of art. You have crafters, you have sculptors, you have jewelry makers, you have glass artists. So how would you describe what you do? Because I know you are all over the place.
Yeah, that's true, Carla. I am all over the place because I love to paint and draw. That's my passion since I was a child. And but in addition to that, I have a strong feeling for sculpture, for three-dimensional art, collage. I've made a little bit of jewelry, different kinds, silver mostly, and beads.
Beautiful.
But I just any kind of artistic expression I'm drawn to. I'm drawn to it.
So now, how did you get started? You said you've been painting and drawing since you were very small. So how did you end up sort of stumbling into these other fields? Did you just decide to pick up silver one day and start melding it?
Oh gee. No, I guess it's really been gradual because when you're little and your mom or your dad gives you a stack of paper and some pens and says, "Here, be quiet for a while."
Right, exactly. Entertain yourself. Talk amongst yourselves.
You know, those are the mediums that you're using. But as you grow older and you're exposed to more, then it's like, I want to try that and I want to do that. Right. So, you know, when I got my first Polaroid when I was 12 or whatever, you know, and was taking snapshots and getting into photography, very basic, and then maybe I meet someone who has a flair for gourmet cooking, you know, and that's creative. Yeah, I want to try it. I want to smell the herbs and combine the flavors, you know.
Very sensual
textures.
description. So you're an adventure man. You're just waiting for the next adventure to come up.
Yeah, I should be out. If I was really adventurous, I'd be out finding adventures.
So do you feel like art is the safer exploration?
Well, one of my favorite quotes is that every work of art is a crime that has gone uncommitted.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I absolutely love that.
Yeah, because I think in a lot of cases it's true. It is exciting, and you can do a lot. You can express a range of feelings and emotions, and you're safe because you're using the pen instead of the sword. You're using your imagination instead of your fists or whatever. You know, and sometimes, you know, we have to sublimate our feelings, and I think art is a wonderful way.
So what did art save you from? I mean, we have honestly, we've had artists on here.
20 to life, probably.
We have had artists on here that have spoken, I mean, everything from battles with severe depression, even into self-mutilation, addiction, struggles with just anxiety and difficulty socially.
Yes.
It's almost anything. Art can be that connecting healer that gives you a way to find a healthy way to connect with people and a healthy way to connect with the world.
Also a way to connect with those parts of yourself that you maybe don't like. A lot of times art is self-therapy. It's being able to express yourself but again, in a safe way. That you're not hurting another person, you're not hurting yourself, but you're putting a part of yourself that maybe you wouldn't ordinarily look at, and being able to look at it and accept it and channel it into something that's positive.
So once you take it outside of your head and put it into this concrete object in front of you, you can look at it from a distant perspective. You can actually get to see something and accept it there when you couldn't maybe accept it in here.
It's a little bit easier to see things objectively that way. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That absolutely makes sense. So now, in terms of your art, you said that, it can be anything that you pick up and work with. What does it take for something to inspire you to want to start a new project? What just do you run into when you say, that wants to be a painting, that wants to be a piece of jewelry, that wants to be a sculpture? How do you go from idea to creating the work of art that's in front of you?
Ideas come fast and furious. I can see a lot of things, so many things that would make a photograph, that would make a painting. I could write about that, I could sing about that. But especially with physical art, I think it can be a long time coming. I mean, I might have some scraps, literally, little torn pieces of paper in a box for years before maybe I get around to making that collage. But I know that there's something there that's gonna come about someday. So it can be a little difficult for me sometimes to actually get down to the nuts and bolts, but my head's always filled with ideas for paintings. And
so you'll spend a lot of time in concept and just visualizing it before you'll even actually start working on the piece. And then do you work on pieces in parts over time, or when you get working, you tend to just I'm just making this happen?
Everything is different. Every piece is different, because sometimes it's just me and the paper and the pen, and it's some simple lines that I'm able to put out there in less than 2 minutes, and I feel like I did enough there, but something else might be on the back burner for a long time.
Okay.
So it can really vary.
Now, how would you describe the feeling in King's Courtyard and what it's like being there working with the other artists, as opposed to working in a home space and selling and creating from a private space? For some people, art is a very private thing.
It's very private for me. As I said, it's really my way of self-exploration, exploring parts of myself and the way that I react to the world. So it's been challenging, especially to sell. I have a tendency, it's almost like a mental block, that I don't put a price tag on things, and might put not for sale up on something, put it out there for people to look at, but not necessarily be anxious to sell it, because it is very personal. So it's been challenging, but it's been very rewarding, because I've never allowed myself really to be much of a part of an art community. I've always been very shy about my work and very private about it. But when Heather Bowser, another Courtyard artist, approached me back in late 2011 and said, you know, do you want to do something? And I'd known Heather as an acquaintance for years, but not, and always wanted to work with her, but we never got around to it. And it seemed like the right time, and I think clearly it was. It was the right time for the King's Courtyard.
Oh yeah,
and
it's
for Royal
definitely
Square.
been thriving for sure. Okay, so you are finding that balance between the private art and the public art. So do you ever struggle with sustainability, with how do I find that balance between being able to make enough that I'm able to keep doing the art, or for you is it I don't want to develop this into something full time because I don't want to be chained by that? And I know a lot of artists go back and forth. I go back and forth. You know, I've been a full-time poet only doing poetry, and I actually hated it. I hated it because I found that meant I had to take whatever gigs were offered. I had to write whatever commission pieces were offered to me, and it didn't matter if I was inspired or not, if I connected with the material or not, if I was in the mood, if I was feeling it or not. And to a certain degree, that discipline was a good thing to cultivate. It gave me the strength to push past certain boundaries and try things I would not have normally tried in my comfort zone. But then there did come that point where I said, you know, this doesn't feel authentic to me. And I found that I needed to have other things, you know, maybe still in the writing field, but not necessarily poetry, that helped pay the bills, you know, so I can do technical writing and things like that.
I've been lucky in that I've been working a full-time job for about 20 years at the Salvation Army, which is only about a block.
Such an awesome organization too. Their York chapter is wonderful people.
Thanks, Carla. We're located on King Street, like a block away from Royal Square, so I can walk over. So I haven't felt that sustainability is an issue for me personally.
How do you balance working full-time with your art? Do you struggle with finding enough time to commit to your art?
Yes. Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
So how do you work around that? You just do the best that you can, trying to find time when you can.
Yes, yes, yeah. And it's not easy.
The balance is never easy. I'm still waiting for the guest that comes on that tells me they have that perfect formula.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll be watching.
Right. Stay tuned. Stay tuned for the perfect balance artistic formula.
Yeah.
So how would you describe the art community in York, since you've now come out and really started engaging and working with the whole community at large?
It's a lot more exciting than I thought it would be. And there are so many people now becoming engaged that it's building momentum. It's still building momentum, I think, and it's growing. It has not plateaued in any way, shape, or form. No. It's growing.
Awesome. Well, people can come in and check out your work in your display space at King's Courtyard during any of their open hours, especially on First Friday, open nice and late, and on Third Fridays when you guys have poetry night, which I am always at, so we can get a look at all of the exciting things that you're doing. Thank you so much for coming on the show, and I can't wait to get back and see your latest pieces.
Okay, well, I'll put something out there for you.
Your culture hound, and I'm here at Seven Valleys Vineyard and Winery with Stephen May, who is the tasting host. Am I right about that?
You got it.
And he is awesome. I've tasted the Vidal, and it is fantastic. It has no added sugars. The grapes are just left on the vines longer, and it is amazing.
Banging.
So we kind of got lost on the way here because we went to Seven Valleys, and you're not there. Could you explain why it's Seven Valleys Vineyard and not in Seven Valleys?
Absolutely. The original owners
Fred and Lynn Hunter. I believe they bought the winery itself back in 1971. And they named it Seven Valleys Vineyard and Winery, even knowing it's in Glen Rock. And when the new owners, Joe and Kimberly Miller, bought it several years ago, they just kept the name.
Okay.
And that's really, in a nutshell, that's the story.
I think it alliterates, and we all love alliteration, don't we?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it sounds nicer.
It is by far one of the most interesting Chardonnays you will ever try. It is clean, it's crisp, it's got a fantastic bouquet finish to it. Even those that do not like Chardonnays.
It's definitely not oaky. I mean,
No,
it's
it's
just,
not.
yeah, you're right about
Stainless
that.
steel that.
Yeah. It's got a lot of fruit in it.
It's wonderful to sit out.
Seven Valleys Vineyard and Winery. Me and my husband took over in 2012, and we purchased the winery from George and Lynn Hunter, and they came here and bought the winery in the late 70s, planted the vines. It's an 80-acre farm. 15 acres are in vines. We grow all of our own grapes here, and we bottle and everything right here. And we have about 9 varieties of grapes growing out in our fields right now, 15 acres in vines, like I said. They opened the winery in 1990, and it's been running until George passed away in 2009. The winery was for sale a couple years, and then my husband and I took over in 2012. So this month is March, and we are doing wine tours right now. So we have that, but throughout the year we have a lot of other events that go on. We have Ladies' Day, we have Men's Day, we have music, usually one weekend a month, and you can check that out on our website, sevenvalleys.com, sevenvalleyswinery.com. And we also have a Facebook page that you can like us on there and get all up to date, up to the moment information on videos, pictures, what's going on. So you can come down to our winery. It's $3 for tastings. You get to taste 5 wines, and we like to have people come down with their pets. We are very pet friendly, so a lot of people bring dogs and walk around the vineyard and bring them and sit on the deck and enjoy. We're family friendly and just like to have a relaxed atmosphere and sit back and enjoy the scenery and the wine.
One of the owning patrons of the vineyard, yes?
Seven Valleys Vineyard and Winery. Actually, it's my wife and I, Kim. We actually took over in 2012. Previous owners, Fred and Lynn Hunter, actually had the winery from the mid-70s. They started with the vineyard, and in 1994 opened it as a winery. So we actually are one of the number of wineries. There's now over 234 limited wineries in Pennsylvania. But we've been here for, like I said, over 30 years. So it's we actually have 15 acres in vineyard. So we do use our own grapes to produce our wine, with a few exceptions. But actually what you're going to taste now is a sample of our Seyval wine. Seyval is the name of the grape.
Okay.
Try that a little bit.
Now, when we're doing a wine testing, like, is there a reason you pour like the little amount? Are we supposed to like swirl it around?
You can swirl it around. It depends on if it's a bottle. We're actually doing tank tastings.
What's the difference?
At this time of year, it would still be considered what would be considered a finished wine, so we could bottle it as it is. But it's in a state where we've actually let it ferment and pretty much finish up where it wants to. Typically down here in this part of the winery, you would be tasting things that are going to be dry. Let ours go until they pretty much finish. So if you try that a little bit, it depends on your taste buds. York County, Adams County, they do have a lot of sweet wine drinkers, although we've seen on the Mason-Dixon Wine Trail is actually what we're having right now. But it's actually very fruity. Last year's harvest was a very
It
nice
is. It tastes
harvest.
like grape bubble gum.
So depending on your taste buds, it may fool you. Actually, that one's bone dry. It's actually less than 0% residual sugar.
Yeah, I get notes.
So that's the difference between a dry and a sweet wine.
It's
Really,
the amount of
it's
sugar,
content.
correct. And you can either, it's a wine process, you can either stop fermentation early, which we have a Vidal that stopped fermenting at a 1% residual sugar. So we thought it was sweet enough. And again, it was very fruit forward. So you had a lot of fruit characteristics in the wine, that variety of grape. So we stopped that, and actually upstairs you can taste that as a finished wine, and it's very good. And this would be something similar, very fruity. So we're doing it again on the Mason-Dixon Wine Trail as just a sample of where the wine is. But we do use our Save-All. We actually do blending. We use it in our proprietor's white. That's a blend of Vidal, Save-All, and Benedict grapes. And we also oaked some last year, so it's oak, sort of like an oak Chardonnay. So if you tried that, it actually has some buttery overtone, so it tastes totally different than what you're tasting right now.
So there's the steel tank.
A lot of wineries previously, the barrel that we're sitting here at is basically the oak barrels that they used to use. Previous owners had used oak for, again, their Chardonnay and some of their reds. A lot of wineries now, smaller wineries especially, oak barrels tend to be expensive. So we have now gone to chips, which is basically our oak chips. This is lightly toasted French oak chips. Is what we
So do you actually mix wood chips in with the wine?
It is special wood chips. It basically would be the wood that's used to make barrels.
As I said, we are open Saturdays and Sundays. Saturdays is when we have live music, and we do get local artists that come here and they play between 1 and 4, 1 and 5 is when they usually play. Some of our fun events that we have is they have Ladies' Day with our local merchants that come down, and anything from say massage, professional massage, to jewelry that people make, or pottery that people make, or paintings that people make. That's for Ladies' Day. Men's Day is also a lot of fun. Joe Miller's brother makes 3 microbrew beers, and he sets up a tent out here in the vineyard. He does a sampling with his beer. Last year we had the owner of Haynes Pipe Shop that came down, and they had a hand roller, hand roll pre-embargo Cuban tobacco leaf cigar.
That is exciting. And I know some ladies, by the way, who will be smoking those. Just so,
they're
just so
fantastic.
we're
It was
clear
fantastic.
here.
Crisp, clean. Grapes that were left on the vines a little bit longer to make it sweeter.
Naturally sweeter.
Naturally sweeter. So I do know a bit about wines and how to talk about wines, and so she asked me when they first opened it if I would be interested in being her wine tasting host, and I said absolutely. And when I came down to finally see the place, I mean, it's just, the energy here is just fantastic. I mean, it's just so low key, and that's how we are. You know, that's how we love people to come out here and just relax and enjoy. Bring your dogs if you want, on leashes, and their kids, and obviously that's not working right now. So, but you can see that it was at one time. Coming down here though, I love it. Like I said, the energy is great, and as a local poet and writer, quite a many pieces of work down here.
Okay. At this picnic table?
No. Actually, I've written things up in the vineyard.
Oh, nice.
So, it's the best job I think I've ever really had, to be on payroll and to discuss wine and the culture of wine and the tasting and the different idiosyncrasies that you can get out of wine. I mean, it really is amazing.
Stefan was talking about how this is a real chemist game in terms of measuring out.
It depends
all
on
of
the winemaker.
Okay.
There are a couple winemakers around who are chemists by trade.
Okay.
And they pretty much do their winemaking as a process, a chemical process.
Okay.
So it's certain levels of chemical additives, it's certain levels of sugars, whereas there are also a lot of winemakers that do it, they say it's kind of an art and science mix. So you do have to understand the whole winemaking process, but it's also comes down to taste. There's a lady who works here, Nancy Beard is our wine maker, vineyard manager, who isn't going to come on the screen. But she basically does most of our winemaking.
Okay.
And her palate, she's been here, like I said, 35 years. So she has an excellent wine palate as far as tasting where a wine's at in process, where it's finishing up at. And then we do kind of do somewhat of a democracy here, but a lot of times it ends up as Nancy's opinion, where we want to finish a wine as far as blending and sweetening.
Right.
Pennsylvania, the weather conditions each year are varied. You may have a lot of moisture one year, you may have a really dry summer one year. So the grapes are actually going to vary a little bit. They'll vary in the sugar content, they'll vary in the taste. So we encourage you to try every year, even though it's the same variety of wine.
Right.
It may taste a little different. Now you try and be as consistent as possible, and that's where the blending trials and the sweetening trials come in. You may have to use a different percentage of the wines. If it's a wine that has 3 different varieties in it, you may have to just adjust the blend percentages, or you may have to vary the sweetness level just to keep it similar to the previous.
So we'll have all of the snow and ice that we had over the winter have an effect on the vines?
Typically, you're more concerned with frost because as we get into warmer temperatures and the vines start pushing buds, if they hold the wine, you want the wine. Oh, sorry. We're actually more concerned this year with the extreme cold temperatures. We understand that in New York, they had a lot of vine dieback, which is a bad thing. If the vine actually dies back, a major portion of it, you won't have any grapes that year. Frosts are a little different. Last year, we actually had a few late frosts where some of the buds were injured. Buds, there's actually 3 types of buds. There's a primary, secondary, and tertiary bud. All 3 of those buds are capable of producing clusters of grapes. So if you have an early frost, you may lose the first one, but you'll still produce grapes. The only thing that does is kind of mess up harvest. If you have one block that's harvestable 2 weeks earlier than the second, it just makes it harder for harvest.
Is there anything you can do to protect the vines if you know that there's going to be frost?
For us, no. Some bigger wineries, they'll do smudge pots where they'll light fires. They'll have wind machines. If you have a frost, that they can try and keep the frost from settling on the foliage. But for us, it's pretty much we're at the mercy of Mother Nature, and you just kind of have to hope for a good year.
Came from my hometown. Was passing close when I thought it said the side
Yeah.
How many events like this do you have a year typically?
The Mason-Dixon Wine Trail, I believe, goes twice a year, and this year they stretched it out to about a month.
Okay.
Last year, I think it was only like 2 weeks, and you have people trying to punch in 7 wineries in a one day, which is almost ridiculous.
These are like wine athletes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're on a wine marathon.
Oh, you get
so.
buses that make their way back here, limos back here, but you know they stretch it out to about a month this year, which I think is a lot better. It gives people more time to enjoy the wineries that they hit.
So we at the beginning of this, the end of it, the middle of it, can people still do this if they want to?
Absolutely. Even when the wine trail isn't in full swing, we definitely take people here Saturdays and Sundays. We are open from 12 to 5, and for $3 you get 5 tastings.
Oh wow! And the wine is good, folks. You should come out.
I'm Carla Christopher, and thank you for joining us right here on the corner of Culture in Maine for another episode of York's Weekly Cultural Showcase, bringing you the very best of the art and culture scene in the York area. Now, if you like what you heard, or even if you didn't, we want to hear from you. So find us on Facebook and make sure to click like at facebook.com/Culture in Maine. Follow us on Twitter at Culture in Maine. Email us at cultureinmaine@gmail.com. Or to find all things Culture in Maine, check out our website, wrct.tv. Go to Channel 18, Show Profiles, and pick Culture in Maine. We want to also thank the artists who contributed to our set. We want to thank Hacker and Case for Change for donating the guitar. And we want to thank, of course, the fabulous artist Lovey Reinhold Price. Find her under The Glass Vidalia on Facebook or by emailing theglassvidalia@gmail.com. And John Stump of jsphotographyfinearts.com. You can also look up JS Photography Fine Arts on Facebook as well. So be safe, be good to each other, and we will absolutely see you here next week on the corner of Culture in Maine.
I'm really excited about this. I love the atmosphere, and I just want to know more about it.
I see it evolving, changing, growing, and I like it.
It's fleeting. Once it happens, once a song comes out, once a poem comes out, it'll never come out the same.
Something like Culture in Maine is documenting what's going on in a way that will have that lasting staying power.
It just breeds health, growth. It's a necessity. It's a necessity, yes.